at this guy. He tried to get lethal weapons. Anyway, what was your point about adoption? Anyway, 1-800-52-STERN, by the way, doing a commercial, $34.95. You must order now if you want it in time for Christmas. Get it. You'll really love it. It's, what do you call it, Robin? It's, you must be 18 or older to order.
Credit card, get your credit card ready.
And it's brought to you by...
Infinity Ventures and Howard Stern.
Right. I'm bringing that to you. Okay. All right, what's your point about adoption?
You are absolutely right. I have about 4 friends I'd say that were adopted, and everyone, at least when they turned 17, they went to try and find their real parents. 2 girls in particular went all the way to California.
Oh, that's nothing. Let me tell you something. What happened?
What they will do, huh?
Let me tell you something, Robin. This is something you don't even know. Here's how it works with adoption. You get these kids, right? You raise them. You love them. You treat them as your own. You spend about $20,000 a year to send them to college. Right?
Mm-hmm.
What's it cost to go to college, private college?
Oh, I think they're estimating that you spend, what, $100,000? $20,000 a year.
$100,000 you spend to send them to college. You know what they do? You know how they thank you? They run off to find their real parents, and then every holiday, Thanksgiving and Christmas, they're torn between who they should spend their time with.
You have to share them.
So you raise these monsters for yourself, and then they break your heart.
Yep.
It's like watching a stock grow and then burning it. All right, thank you, Mighty Joe.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Mighty Joe, Big Joe, Mighty Joe Young. Robin, what else is in the news?
Well, I was talking, the theme here was murderers and possible death penalties.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Farina.
Farina? I used to watch him in the little...
that he was having a boring day. And that's what prompted him to kill a Taco Bell worker and wound 3 others during a robbery. He was convicted of murder in Daytona Beach, Florida.
Right.
At the time. Also convicted was his brother Anthony, 18. They like to keep it in the family. A death sentence is possible in that case.
Execute him.
So look for that one.
Excellent and execute start with the same... Yeah.
What?
I'm sorry.
Excellent and execute?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Here's a stickier case, Howard.
Stinkier or stickier?
Stickier.
All right, go ahead.
You'd say, right away, fry those guys, right?
Right.
But what about this?
Go ahead.
A black man convicted by an all-white jury.
That's right.
Is scheduled to be executed in Alabama.
What did he do?
On Friday at 12:01 in the morning in a racially charged case.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Cornelius Singleton. He was found guilty in 1981 of robbing and killing a white Roman Catholic nun in Mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Sister Ann Hogan was beaten and strangled in a cemetery while praying for members of her religious order.
I can't imagine being on this guy's side on anything, but go ahead,
Her watch was stolen, and she was buried, possibly while still alive.
Buried alive, a nun. Oh, go ahead now. What is the controversy here?
Singleton's trial has raised questions about whether a black man can get a fair trial in Alabama. It was an all-white jury. They submitted a signed confession, but the confession was signed with the letter X because he's illiterate.
Yeah.
He says he thought...
I thought it was because he thought he was Malcolm X.
No.
Yeah.
He was signing a confession to stealing clothing off of a clothesline. He has an IQ between 55 and 67.
Same as Gary. Go ahead.
Oh, stop it. And all of this happened, the signing of the confession, his questioning, all before his court-appointed attorney arrived.
Well, where does he say he was during this killing?
Who knows where he says he was?
I mean, we don't have enough facts. I mean, sounds like we got to get rid of him. But all right, let's take a break.
Well,
Let me think about it.
There's a lot of things to
Give me a minute to think about it.
Consider there. Are we ready to fry this guy this Friday? Maybe we want to wait a while.
Why we're in the
Even
weekend?
the priest who runs the parish where this woman was killed doesn't think he's guilty.
Really? Well, then take the weekend to think about it, and then get back to us with it.
Well, that's not the way it's going to go.
Believe me. Wipe him out.
Oh, you.
I don't care if the jury was albinos. Cut a hole in his head, cut off his arms, and beat him until his guts come out of the hole. That's the easiest way to do it. You cut off the guy's arms, and then you beat him with his own arms until all his guts pour out of his armholes.
Even if he's innocent?
That's right, Robin.
Oh.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back and discuss more of these problems.
AM 1000 with Howard Stern in the morning.
The tradition continues, this time on a whole new frequency. It's the Chicago Eddie Schwartz Good Neighbor Food Drive and live broadcast to benefit the Chicago Anti-Hunger Federation.
I want you to mark Friday night, December 11th, in your calendar as a very important night. It's the night of our WLUP-AM 1000 Good Neighbor Food Drive, and we need you there.
Eddie will be across from Daly Plaza on Clark Street between Washington and Randolph. For more information and to volunteer to help, call 708-474-FOOD, 708-474-3663. And send your donations to Good Neighbor Food Drive, Box AM 1000, 60 East Chestnut, Chicago 60611. Let's join Eddie, bring lots of food, and make this year's food drive the biggest yet. The Good Neighbor Food Drive.
We'll be there broadcasting.
With Eddie Schwartz, to benefit the Chicago Anti-Hunger Federation. Brought to you by WLUP Chicago, your AM 1000.
Tonight on Street Stories, seatbelts. They're supposed to save lives, not ruin them. If you thought our first story was shocking, fasten your seatbelts for our latest investigation.
We're going to let the people know the real truth.
The government still says everything's fine, but wait till you see what we've offered now. Also, someone wants to steal your car. The problem is you're still in it. If you think it's the last place you'd ever be robbed, you're wrong. Street Stories with Ed Bradley tonight on the CBS Television Network.
Everybody thinks about it.
Sex.
Tonight, we'd like to talk to you about
Sex.
what's normal,
Sex.
what's not,
Sex.
how much is enough,
Sex.
how much is too much,
Sex.
what you can do to make it better.
Sex.
Some very candid talk about sex. Are you normal? A Channel 2 News Extra tonight at 10.
It's 12 minutes before 10 a.m. here in Chicago. 42 degrees at both O'Hare and Midway, 41 degrees at the lakefront. Wendy Snyder here with these headlines. President-elect Bill Clinton caps off his two-day preview visit to Washington, D.C. today. He's going to be spending a lot of time on Capitol Hill, meeting top lawmakers of both parties. And later on, he's going to get a military briefing from Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman Colin Powell. Remember, the American Cancer Society wants smokers to take a vacation from smoking today, change their lives. It's the 16th annual Great American Smokeout. It's aimed at getting the nation's 50 million smokers to kick the habit, at least for today. Want you to sit tight. Kevin Matthews and Jimmy Shorts coming in after Howard Stern, and Jim Volkman up with sports next on the WLUP-AM 1000.
Got it at the factory. They do right by me. Burlington Coat Factory. They do right by me.
The biggest men's suit sale of the season is on now at Burlington Coat Factory with incredible savings on their biggest and best selection of fall suits, including famous label and European designer wool suits. Sale priced at $129.99 and $179.99. When you see the labels, you'll probably think $225 or $475. But Burlington Coat Factory has them in the newest looks and colors, single and double-breasted, sale priced at just $129.99 and $179.99. Don't miss Burlington Coat Factory's biggest suit sale ever. Call 1-800-444-2628 for a Burlington Coat Factory near you.
I got it at the factory. They do right by me. Burlington Coat Factory. We're more.
Not affiliated with Burlington Industries.
Maybe you're at home relaxing. Maybe you're at work. Whatever you're doing, give it a rest, because Wilson's, the leather experts, the people who invented affordable leather, are having their first annual drop whatever you're doing or regret it for the rest of your life leather sale. Wilson's is offering the largest selection of adventure-bound leather jackets on Earth and every other planet. That includes quality leather bomber jackets off our rack and on your back for $99.99, plus a huge selection of three-quarter length coats, long coats, whatever you want in leather. Our prices are so low they sound like a mistake, but they're not. We also have the perfect gift idea. Leather accessories like men's and ladies' leather gloves starting at just $9.99. So even if you're in the middle of a passionate kiss, unpucker now and get to the drop whatever you're doing or regret it for the rest of your life leather sale. Now at Wilson's, the folks who make leather affordable.
The Wilson's Adventure Bound sale is on now. For the greatest selection of leather jackets you'll find anywhere, go to Wilson's. They've got bomber jackets and cycle jackets starting at just $99.99. Wilson's, they make leather affordable.
The Cubs are about to make a last-ditch, same as July, about 28.5 over 5 offer to Greg Maddux. Number 31's agent isn't happy about the Cubs trying to force Maddux to accept so soon. Himes wants it done before the winter meetings about 2 weeks from now, but agent Boris says, relax, you've had your chance. Let us shop around. Same thing for National League MVP Barry Bonds, who will be meeting with Himes this weekend in town. Bonds' price will start at about 35 over 5. He made $250,000 yesterday for his second MVP in 3 years. He beat out Pendleton and Sheffield. Basketball tonight, a big challenge in Game 2 of the 7-game journey. The Bulls going for 6 in a row against the tough 5-1 Sonics at the Kingdome. Seattle is unbeaten at home so far. It's 9 o'clock tip. The preseason NIT tip last night, number 4 Indiana 103, Murray State 80. Hockey tonight at the Forum. Leg 2 of the 6-game trip. The Hawks and Kings minus Gretzky. Mo and Bang's pregame starts at 9 o'clock right here in your home of the Hawks. AM 1000. That's the sports at 9:51. And I'm Jim Volkman. The Hawks, the mighty. Oh, come on, Wendy. Oh, you promised.
I'm not doing it.
I'm embarrassed.
All right.
Now we blew it. We'll try next time.
Right.
Bye-bye.
The Howard Stern Show on WLUP Chicago. The Loop, your AM 1000.
Let me go on.
All right, go ahead.
Jeffrey Lee Griffin became the 11th person this year to be executed by the state of Texas.
Another execution? Don't you have anything positive to report,
No,
Robin?
I don't, Howard. Nothing
Sound like
positive
Fred
is
now.
happening.
Join
Griffin,
now.
who had been on death row for 14 years. Now, I think that's astounding.
Death row 14 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Was put to death for the 1979 slaying during a Houston convenience store robbery.
Wow.
So apparently he was having a good time, though, while he waited on death row. So when the reporters were led into the place to observe his injection, his lethal injection,
Yeah.
he was joking with a priest who was standing there with him. So he took it very well.
You know what's odd?
What?
The guy who used to rob convenience stores, you know what his last meal was?
What?
Slim Jim.
Oh, stop it. His last statement was, in part, that he loved his mother and he wanted to say hello to his aunt and his fiancée in England.
That was what? His last,
That was his last statement.
Really? I want to say hello to my aunt
And my fiancée.
and my fiancée.
These guys always have women.
Yeah. Can you imagine? You know, I meet guys every day. They write me letters. I want to be on dial-a-date. I got a big penis, this, that, and the other thing. They give you a whole lecture on why they should be on dial-a-date. This guy's on his way to death row. He's got a wife. Got a fiancé.
Got a fiancé. He's
Yeah.
getting married.
Wouldn't it be great if one of these guys, as they were going in, the last thing they say is, I got to see Butt Bongo Fiesta, Howard Stern's new video.
Well, that would make headlines around the world.
I need one guy on death row to ask for his last request. He wants to see Butt Bongo Fiesta.
Well, you better well, we do broadcast into a lot of places now.
Dallas, they have the death sentence.
That's right. Texas does. This
That's
guy
right.
could have done it for us, but
Sure.
we're not in Houston.
No, he didn't want to help us.
I'm looking in the USA Today, and they have this ad in the paper, and I said, you know, this is very interesting. This is exactly how a lot of these groups get money. They ask you a question where the answer is obviously in the affirmative.
All right, ask me the question, Robin.
1 in 3 American girls will be sexually molested by the age of 18.
That's correct.
Isn't it time we got rid of the instruction manual?
Yes.
Now,
Yeah, go ahead.
there you go.
What is the instruction manual?
I don't know.
For molestation?
Yeah, I didn't know there was a molestation instruction manual. What they're calling it is hardcore pornography.
Oh, I see. Oh, if we get rid of pornography, therefore...
Right, the molestation will disappear.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work that way. We were rid of pornography. Many places on the planet have had
No
a ban,
pornography.
had no pornography. There's plenty of rapes and molestation. That seems to be inbred. No, but this idea of blaming nude pictures for molestation is absolutely absurd.
Well, but the point is, hardcore pornography, child pornography is already illegal.
It is. It's as illegal as it can be, and we can't get rid of it.
Why are they collecting money to try to get rid of it?
What is it, Bob?
Baba Booey. We were supposed to interrupt the news with this phone call.
What is it?
What is this?
It's Don Messick, the voice of many cartoons.
Now, tell him I'll call him back after the news.
Okay.
Ask him, please, if he can wait 15 minutes.
I know you're excited about him.
No, Howard,
Jerry hasn't stopped. I said after the news I'll speak to him. I thought we'd be done by now, but we're not.
Okay.
Get out of here. We got into the adoption story. It took a half hour. It turned into being a 60 minutes piece. Oh, hold on. I'll take it.
No,
Gary,
I could take care of it.
Don?
Yeah.
Do you mind if we call you back in about 15 minutes?
Okay.
It's Howard. You're
Yeah.
on the air. I got to we got to do the news.
Sure.
And then we'll hear you do your cartoon voices.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
do one for us right now. Get us warmed up.
Well, yes, of course. This is Droopy Dog. Am I
No,
coming
do one we
through
know.
loud and clear?
Do one we know. I don't know Droopy Dog.
Well, how about Boo Boo Bear?
Okay.
All right.
Hey.
Go back to Droopy Dog. All right, I'll get back to you in about 15, 20 minutes.
All right.
All right?
Yeah.
And prepare Yogi Bear to say I call 1-800-52-STERN.
I don't think Yogi's here today.
Oh, all right. Well, then get Scooby or somebody. Right, hold on.
We'll see.
Call him back, Gary.
I will.
Favorite of the cartoon voices.
Baba Booey.
Baba Booey's wild for the cartoon voice.
Yes, he
Baba
is.
Booey.
Get out of here. I'm
These
doing
are
the
big
news.
stars
Baba Booey.
and shouldn't be kept waiting. Mr.
Baba Booey.
Baba Booey.
What is that?
I said, I'm wild to get a guest.
All right, good. Okay.
Cartoons are not.
But anyway, it
Baba
just
Booey.
struck me that, a lot of times these religious ads do the same thing. They ask you a question that you'd say yes to, and then they say, well, send us money because we want to stop that. And you don't even know who you're sending the money to
Of course.
necessarily. I don't know who this organization is.
Well, I flipped out. I watched a movie about Reverend Donald Wildman. That's one of the guys who reported me to the government. He's worried about children's television. He's worried about sex and violence. They do this. You got to see this movie. Wildman didn't want it. In fact, he tried to hold it up, evidently. They interviewed him at one point. There's two women there sitting there, cranking through the checks. I never saw it. People send donations to anything. Anything that says in the paper, American Family Association. We're against pornography. Boom, checks. Checks start just rolling in. They start rolling in. This is what all these guys do. It's unbelievable. They start a organization.
Stop being so quick to put your money in an envelope.
Yeah.
Find out what you're doing first.
I mean, we're all against molestation. I don't know that the answer is taking away personal freedoms. I'll tell you something. There's a good argument that could be made that if there wasn't pornography, guys would do more molestations because they couldn't get to see anything.
You can argue on either side of the issue. I think that what you need to do is fix the problem. People are sick when they rape. They are sick when they molest children. And it doesn't matter. You could show them a cheese sandwich. It would set them off.
You think a cheese sandwich would set a guy off?
If they're going to rape, they're going to rape.
Really?
It doesn't matter what they saw just before.
So you're saying get rid of cheese?
I'm saying, yeah, anything.
It would be the same thing as
Get
getting
rid of
cheese.
everything because you don't know what will set them off.
What kind of cheese?
I think it's the Swiss cheese.
The Swiss cheese. Can you believe that guy doesn't do Yogi Bear, the one voice I know? That's what's wild. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm bothered by Yogi Bear.
Boo-boo.
A boo-boo? Boo-boo, Yogi's not there. Yogi better get there quick.
You know it's the Great American Smokeout today.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And this is good news. Good news for blacks. They have an easier time stopping smoking than
That's
whites
right.
do.
That's absolutely true. I know that.
How do you know that?
I grew up in a black community. Blacks have an easier time of quitting smoking
Why is that, Howard?
than white people. Why is it? You want to know the biological reason why? They have an extra bone in their ankle.
Oh,
no, you want to know why the black people have an easier time quitting smoking?
Go ahead, tell me.
All right, I'll tell you. Because they're good at quitting everything. It's just a joke. Of course, it's not true. Well, in some cases. It's not true, of course.
Oh, dear.
No. Why are black people better than white people at quitting smoking? I have no idea why. No idea why.
It's not that big an advantage. 98% of blacks taking part in a national study, I Stopped Smoking, kicked the habit entirely through self-help versus 85% in the white group. Blacks scored significantly lower than whites on standardized questionnaires that measured nicotine addiction. Blacks smoke fewer cigarettes than whites, about half a pack versus a pack a day for whites. And blacks are less likely than whites to smoke when they're sick.
Most favorite cigarette in the black community, I can tell you this, Cools. Cools and Salem and menthol. Anything with menthol.
Anything with menthol.
Blacks love menthol. Why is that?
They say that, I don't know, but blacks may metabolize nicotine differently. Maybe the menthol has something to do with that, too. They just like that taste or something.
Black people love menthol cigarettes. I know this. I've seen it for myself.
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, you're asking me about smoking and blacks.
Black children start smoking later than whites as well.
Right.
Probably because they're more afraid of getting into trouble with their mothers.
And really, seriously, the reason that it's easier for blacks to quit smoking, I mean, more so than whites. And this is a theory I had. I told you that black people... Now, look, I'm a guy who can talk about this because I grew up in the community. Roosevelt, Long Island, one of the blackest communities in the nation, Robin. And you, unlike you grew up in a white community.
I have never been able to identify where Roosevelt is, actually.
Well, you know what? You don't want to. No, you know what it is? It's not on any map because everyone's afraid to go there to find out where it is. So let me tell you something. They took down the sign on the Southern State Parkway where it is. But one of the theories I always had, and I know this to be true, I saw a lot of black guys quit smoking. They seem to do it effortlessly. And the theory that I always had is the cigarettes slip out of their hands because of the hand lotion.
Oh.
I'm not kidding, because these guys love to use hand lotion.
So they can't hold on to
They can't hold a cigarette. It goes out like a banana. That's one of my
I better
theories.
quit. I can't hold on to my cigarette.
Right. That's one of the theories that's going around. But there's a lot of theories.
It's harder to smoke, too, because you can't keep a hold of that many.
One guy once explained it to me. He says, the reason it's so easy for us to quit smoking, he says, we hate cigarettes because cigarettes are white. That was another theory. And then another guy said that the black people don't like matches to light the cigarettes because it reminds them of fire and the jungle. And they were scared of, when they were in the jungle before they were brought over as slaves, the fire scared them. The white man would put the torches.
Yeah, give it up, Hal. Give it up.
Well, not only that, you know why black people hate cigarettes? Because their ancestors had to pick the tobacco for the massa.
Oh, gee.
That's another reason. What else, Robin?
There's a new tobacco suit going on. Charles Cooper.
Scott owns one. It's a tobacco suit. It actually, it's made out of tobacco. It's an actual suit. It's a three-piece suit.
Charles Cooper is dying of lung cancer, Howard. He's 51 years old, and his lawyer says he's 51 years old and he's not going to get any older.
Right.
So he's suing R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company and the Tobacco Institute and the Reese drugstores where he bought his cigarettes.
Right.
Because he says they didn't emphasize to him how dangerous smoking was.
Smoking is very dangerous. He didn't know that.
They didn't emphasize it.
It's amazing. I love these lawsuits. Look at these lawsuits. Why is there no ban against frivolous lawsuits?
You think this is frivolous? The guy's dying of lung cancer.
The guy's dying of lung cancer. How old is he?
51.
And he had no idea that cigarette smoking was bad for him.
Well, sure, but they continue to advertise them. They don't advertise arsenic.
Let me tell you something. They advertise certain hamburgers. You know, a lot of people know the hamburgers are killing people. They're loaded with fat. You could make an argument that everything's killing you. Air is killing you. What are you going to do? I hear he's going to sue the people who make matches, too.
He's suing for $3 million. He quit smoking in December of 1990 when he was diagnosed with inoperable cancer.
Right.
He says that R.J. Reynolds knew smoking was dangerous but didn't tell its customers. R.J. Reynolds says there's been a warning on the side of the cigarette packages since 1966.
Right.
But he's filed his suit anyway. And it's going to go through the courts. This is incredible. Listen to this story.
Fred, why do you think black people quit smoking easier than white people? Let's hear what the genius has to say. Why do you think that is, that black people can quit smoking? And this disturbs me. Why are black people better at quitting than white people?
Now you're
because
upset.
they're too lazy to smoke.
No, come on.
Jesus.
There was a theory going around that, you know, when you saw the riots, a lot of the blacks were carrying TVs.
Uh-huh.
They want to stay in shape. So they could run with the TV better. During the next riot, when the next time a white jury convicts a black guy.
I see.
And now, you can't smoke while carrying a TV.
Why not?
Well, you really can't. It's
you need both
cumbersome.
hands.
Oh, you need your hands free.
Right.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, Robin, obviously there's no conclusive answer. There's just theory.
I guess you'll have to continue your research.
I believe it's what you said originally. I believe it's the maybe the nicotine.
They metabolize it differently?
That's right.
Well, they don't know. They're just speculating.
We'll have to go into the laboratory this weekend over at my house and do some experiments.
Listen to this. Linda McDonald checked into a Montreal psychiatric hospital in 1963 because she was depressed.
Yeah.
5 months later, she was released. Her mind emptied.
What?
She didn't remember her husband,
Yes.
her children,
Yes.
or the first 26 years of her life.
No.
She couldn't read.
Yes.
She couldn't write.
Yes.
Cook a meal.
No.
Or make a bed.
Yes.
What had happened to her? One of the world's leading psychiatrists, funded by the CIA, had brainwashed her.
By the way, and that woman's name is Allison Steele.
Oh, stop
The Nightbird. Just kidding.
I already told you her name was Linda McDonald.
Yeah.
How did he do this? He drugged her with an assortment of medications, including LSD.
Right.
He made her sleep for 86 days.
Right.
Repeatedly electroshocked her.
Yes.
And then they did something called psychic driving. Playing repeated taped messages 16 hours a day.
I've heard of that
for
technique.
days on end.
It's terrible.
Her husband, nor she, or her family had ever given permission for this to be done to her. So can you imagine what they thought after she was returned?
But she has a statement to make. We have it on tape. Here it is. Here's her statement.
So the Canadian government, which approved these tests, has just agreed to give the victims of this. She's not the only victim.
Right.
She's just one of the still living victims.
One of the victims.
$79,000. They'd already come to some settlement with the CIA for $100,000 apiece. But apparently this was some of that testing that the CIA was up to back in the 60s. You know, they did all that LSD testing.
Yes.
They were trying to determine what to do, and they wanted to know how to counter brainwashing techniques used by the communists
in Vietnam.
In war efforts. So that's what they were up to, and they never asked anybody's permission. They did a lot of the secret testing and wound up erasing this woman's entire mind.
That's terrible, Robin.
So she says that she's gone through many, many years of discomfort and pain. You know, both she and her family as a result, you know, of having to relearn absolutely everything and get to know her husband and her children again. She's now, of course, in Hollywood. Where she's
that she remembered to do.
Looking to sell the rights to her story.
Right.
So we should be seeing a movie about that any time now.
Is that right?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, she's out in Hollywood negotiating. President yesterday, and the president talked mostly about foreign affairs, so he's right till the end.
Right.
He's maintaining his interest in foreign affairs and forgetting about the domestic issues.
No sense in asking him about domestic issues. He's totally ignored that. Hey, what about Clinton? Must have been like, you know,
hey, George, where did Kennedy bang all those girls? Where did he have the sex? Where did that happen? I mean, just out of curiosity.
Did he ever do it in the Oval Office, do you know?
I don't know.
Did you hear about the motorist yesterday who went to police and said he was carjacked? He was like a big hulking guy.
Right.
And he went to police, said that somebody had stopped him, put a gun to his head or something, opened up his trunk, threw him in it, and he'd been locked in his trunk for 4 days.
Yes.
And he was found by these two guys, and they got him out. Now, the two guys, this is a very interesting story. The two guys who got him out of the trunk, a reporter asked them, did it look like he had been in there for 4 days? And the guy said, yeah, there was a lot of...
duty.
Yeah, duty and...
duty. Duty, yeah.
And the other stuff.
Yes, duty.
In the car. And you could see that he had some bottles of water in the trunk that he just stores there, and he was using the bottles of water to live. So the bottles of water had been opened, and some of it had spilled in the car. So they said, yeah, we have no doubt that he was in there for several days.
Right.
But now I understand that man has been charged with a misdemeanor.
Misdemeanor.
For reporting a fake crime. So apparently nothing happened to him at all. I just wonder, did he actually plant that stuff in the car?
I don't know. Maybe he picked his nose with a tire iron. Did they check that? He might have just thrown some waste matter in that car.
The police spent all afternoon with him yesterday, and finally they started to see lots of discrepancies in the story.
Could have been like dog dew in that car.
Yeah, I guess they're going to have to analyze that.
Check it for worms. That's a sure dead giveaway.
But he was in the trunk of the car with his hands tied. How could he have done all that by himself?
We'll need to examine the duty.
He was disheveled and apparently had urinated in the trunk.
Oh. Hey, who hasn't done that?
So I don't know. I don't know whether they'll ever get to the bottom of why he decided, Regis Larkin, why he decided to make up that story.
I took a dump in a cardboard box in the car, so what the hell?
Oh, you. The guy in Detroit, an autopsy shows that he had cocaine and alcohol in his system when he died.
Oh, yeah.
The motorist, Melise Green.
Melise?
Who was allegedly beaten to death by some police officers in Detroit.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
Yeah.
See?
So they say, yes, there was...
there was nonsense afoot.
Some cocaine in the blood and some alcohol.
Guy might have acted wildly.
They say this should have some bearing on the case, but the prosecution will proceed, Howard. They're going to...
the prosecution doesn't care. They're going to take those police officers
to court.
The police officers are trying to subdue these maniacs. drunken, coked-up guys running around on the street that the police have to sit and monitor all the time. And these guys will have a mockery of a trial in Detroit, because if they are found innocent, there will be such rioting in Detroit. Although there's nothing to riot over. I mean, all the buildings are burned out anyway.
How do you tell there's a riot in Detroit?
You don't. And I'll tell you something. In Detroit, they riot over when Detroit wins the World Series. So imagine if a white jury, or even any jury, convicts these guys, or doesn't convict them. What will they do? There's nothing left. If you riot over the World Series, what will you do to top that, to show your anger?
Stay home.
Stay home. You will lock yourself in your house?
When you're very happy, you riot.
I see.
When you're upset, you stay home.
Yeah, maybe Detroit is like the bizarro world. They do the opposite of what everything is supposed to do. What else? Anything, Robin?
Also, there was a report released yesterday of an internal investigation into State Department affairs that led to the investigation of Bill Clinton's personal passport records during the election. The report says that no major fraud or massive corruption was uncovered, but there was an attempt to sway the outcome of an election by State Department officials, and they think that they nipped it in the bud at the level at which it occurred. They do not see any evidence that the orders came from the White House.
If Bush had won the presidency, this would have turned into another Watergate. The idea that these guys in the State Department acted alone is a little fishy.
Well, it was an internal investigation.
Yeah. Internal investigation. That's like Nixon investigating himself on Watergate.
Nope, there was no wrongdoing.
And just understand something. These are government bureaucrats going out to screw Bill Clinton. They were going to conduct a dishonest campaign. They were going to use their office to obtain information any way they could. But of course, I bet you think you're so funny. She's going to call all her friends. The whole show stopped, and the comic comes over to our table, and the whole place is cracking up, and it's wild, and we made the whole show. Everybody loved us, and we made the whole show. Everyone in the whole club.
You should have seen it. You should have been there.
You should have been there. The whole club was going crazy from us, and the comedian.
We were funnier than she was.
Yeah. That's it.
Robin, I give you a lot of credit.
There isn't a funny bone. There is not a funny bone in your entire family. And there hasn't been one since Moses.
You should know.
And that's that. But I want to thank the Yentas for coming in.
True.
And Yentas, thank you for stopping by.
Our
I had to see what you look like. Thanks for showing me your bras.
Thanks for submitting your entry.
Yes.
You're welcome. You're welcome. How come we didn't win?
But help me with Butt Bongo
No, there was
Fiesta.
some that were better.
Tell me the marketing strategy. Here you are, two ladies who claim to be big fans. Your husbands are fans. What is it that I'm doing wrong that hasn't motivated you to buy Butt Bongo Fiesta?
Well, you only say for Christmas on the advertisement. He says and Hanukkah.
No, but I'm saying just in general, aren't you curious to see it? It's
Yes.
wild. It's 3D. It's the butt bongoing. It's all the sketches
But
that you love.
let me just point out something.
It's stuff you've never seen.
It's male-oriented. Probably.
But why wouldn't your
wouldn't get it for your
I would
husband?
surmise that it's... Well, what about us?
All the women love it. Ask Scott the engineer. His wife, who's just like you two, his wife watched it last night. She loved it.
Oh, really?
She loved it.
And speaking of wives, if you go to your hotline, you'll hear yours.
Well, what does my wife want? No, I got a break for commercial.
Good.
She wants their phone number.
She wants to meet them.
Well, let's have an airing of it.
Honey, you want to make friends with these two?
No, that's what I'm calling to tell.
Yeah, do you believe it? Don't they sound like you have dopey friends?
Oh, my. No, I wouldn't even be friends with them.
Good. Well, I hope you've learned your lesson.
You think your friends sound different than this, Allison?
Well, listen, when I bring my girlfriend up, I should say they're my friends, too. But not really. They're more her friends.
Who's friends? Who's friends?
But I come up with my girlfriend for her birthday.
They're your friends. Are you going to say they're your girlfriend's friends?
Your girlfriend doesn't sound like this.
She's trying to get out of it.
As we speak, I'm having a Buddhist teach my wife Buddhism
Thank
so
you.
that she will change
Thank you.
completely.
What
Now,
does that
listen,
mean?
Allison, what it means is that when I say to you why I don't want to go out with your...
Howard, I agree. Do we do that anymore?
Right, but you fought me on it. Was I right?
Listen, I fought you for a while, and then I...
Don't you love our Saturday nights together when
I
we
do.
go out to dinner?
I do.
And we don't have your stupid friends along with their stupid husbands and their stupid questions about my stupid career?
I do.
Yeah.
I couldn't take it either.
Well, good, because of course, and no woman who's married to me should be able to take this.
And a lot more.
This should disturb you as much as it disturbs me.
It does.
Oh, I'm glad I shocked you into reality.
Oh, thanks.
And do me a favor, don't sound like these two ever.
I don't think I could.
And this is a lesson to all women. Don't ever sound like this, because if you sound like
If you
this,
sound like this, stop right now.
your husbands are going to divorce you.
I don't think I could ever sound like that.
Good, and don't.
She sounds exactly
No,
like
I
that.
don't.
You really do. You went to Columbia for your master's, right? You're a
Right.
social worker?
Right.
Okay, I went to Columbia for my master's, too. I think we know somebody, like, in common. I won't
Oh,
mention
here
her
we
name.
go. This is
But anyway, no.
Oh, here it is. This is the same.
Wait a second.
Now, hold on a second. This is the same rap we get in the restaurant.
I'm not going to say, I'm just saying.
I know, the same people.
no.
Howard now.
It's always a close encounter.
I'm just saying you really do sound like us.
You should be
Why?
flattered people want to know you.
You really do sound like us.
I don't mind they want to know me. I don't want to know them.
Howard, do I sound like that?
You really do.
You better not.
You
Because I
really
tell you right
do.
now, I'm leaving the house, you start sounding like them.
I don't think
yeah, you're
You
a
really
couch
do.
potato when you get home.
My wife ever sounded like you two, I'd cut my wrists.
So would I.
You really do, Allison.
No, I don't. No.
I hear your voice. I hear your voice.
Anyway, Allison, you always look pretty when you're on TV.
Right. It's very nice.
Oh,
You having a
thanks.
nice pregnancy?
Yeah,
Oh,
very nice.
God. That's good.
Okay, all right, listen, Allison, I got to go to commercial. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, honey. That's my wife, Allison. Allisonito.
My poor Allison.
No, poor you.
No.
And that's another thing you Yentas do. You meet my
Why
wife.
do you feel bad for her?
Hold it a second. Hold it a second.
so mean.
This is the other thing the Yentas do. They
We're
get
in
to
a
know us, right? They
commercial
fight. They work their way. I don't care about
Oh,
commercial.
now they're not performing. They're in a commercial,
Yeah.
they think.
Good. They work. These Yentas work so hard to get to know my wife
Yes.
because they want to eventually get to
Right,
me.
yes.
No.
So they put in a big campaign.
Maybe they
and
like her for herself.
You should shut up. I'm
Could
gonna
you
hang
let him make a statement?
He doesn't let anybody else get a word.
It's my show.
Oh, okay.
So they work. They campaign to meet my wife so they can get a hold of me.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get a hold of me. And the first thing they start getting they work their way into our lives.
Right.
And then you know what the next thing they do is?
What?
They get a hold of my wife in private. They go, I feel sorry for you.
You poor thing.
You poor thing. He said, oh, guess what he said about you on the radio today? Guess what he said? Now they're into our lives. Now
Yeah,
they've
now they're
wormed their
helping
way
your
in.
marriage.
Now they have a special conference. They have a special hotline to my wife. If my wife didn't hear something I said, they're going to tell her what I said.
They're looking out for her best interest.
Now, meanwhile, their husbands are miserable. They all cheat. All their husbands cheat on them, which they don't even know about. They think their husbands are being faithful to them. All of their husbands cheat on them. All of their husbands are miseries. They're these big bores who do nothing interesting. They sit at home and fantasize while they play with themselves about being my wife and what an interesting life it would be. And they're going to work on my wife now to irritate her. Now they've worked their way hard into that's when I get my wife to dump them.
Look at that fist he's making.
I'm crazy. Get out of here, you two. Yentas.
He's getting off.
Do me a favor, as a Christmas present to the tri-state area, learn sign language, the two of you. You know sign language?
A little
figured.
bit.
A little bit,
A
all
little
right.
bit.
All right, Yentas, listen, I don't mean to take out my anger on you two. You
You
two
really are
Yentas
today.
have not personally invaded my life, but the Yentas that sound like you have.
That's why I told
Right.
you. I told you at the onset.
Listen, I got to break for commercial, so listen, you two go out and annoy. You annoy as many
I
people
want
as
to
you
know
can.
that Scott the DJ for my daughter's bat mitzvah.
Okay. We'll be back right after these words.
The radio show, Howard Stern in the morning. The station, WLUP Chicago. The frequency, AM 1000, the AM loop.
This weekend, Fighting Illini football is back on the AM loop when Lou Tepper's squad battles the Spartans from Michigan State.
Back to throw to Verduzco, rolling to the left side. Got a block. Pump fake, dives to the end zone. Touchdown, Illinois.
This Saturday, our pregame action begins at noon with This Week in College Football and the Illinois Preview Show. U of I football is brought to you by your Chicagoland Chevrolet Geo dealers, Ameritech Mobile, the Masonry Industry, and Chicago Bears Weekly. It's another Big Ten brawl with Illinois and Michigan State on your home for Fighting Illini football.
Verduzco back again. Cox and fires. He has a man. That is touchdown, right. Touchdown, Illinois.
Chicago's entertainment and sports station, The Loop, your AM 1000.
Did you know there are J.B. Robinson Jewelers customers who are so satisfied they write in about it? This holiday season, experience what thousands of J.B. Robinson Jewelers customers already know. Just listen to this actual letter.
When my husband said yes to the gift of a diamond ring enhancer, I was elated but skeptical. The prices I'd seen were outrageous, and the financing seemed impossible. Then we found J.B. Robinson Jewelers. I was overwhelmed. But thanks to your helpful salespeople, I was able to take my time, experiment, and make a gorgeous selection. Your manager clearly explained the very affordable financing, and we left